Chapter 612, Ice Demon. This chapter is updated by Novels.pl. Zhang Yuochen was certain his rival was not a half-saint, although the man in black was very powerful. He was not so powerful as to cause Zhang Yuochen to despair. He was probably also a master of spiritual power at the 44th level, although his spiritual attainments far exceeded Zhang Yuochen's. This person must be the Lord of Solitary Shadow Peak, Ice Demon. After all, very few masters of spiritual power could reach the 44th level. Furthermore, this opponent could control ice. Zhang Yuochen could think of no one else but Ice Demon. He had not expected to meet an evil opponent so soon. Ice Demon was more than 100 years old. He had high seniority among the evil warriors and had already attained the 44th level of spiritual power 30 years ago. Zhang Yuochen could tell from the aura emanating from his body that his spiritual power had reached the advanced stage of the 44th level, although it had not reached the peak. Zhang Yuochen had just reached the 44th level. His spiritual power simply could not compare. This old demon is much more powerful than Red Wish Emissary, Zhang Yuochen thought to himself. Only a spiritual master at the 44th level could feel the terror of Ice Demon's power. Ice Demon seemed a little impatient. Coldly, he said, "So what's your decision?" "My patience is wearing thin." Although his opponent was strong, Zhang Yuochen's expression did not change. "Ice Demon, if you tell me where Demonic Saintess is, I shall release him." "You know my name and yet you dare to bargain with me?" "Young people nowadays sure aren't simple." Ice Demon immediately utilized his sky eye, which turned into a light column. He stared at Zhang Yuochen, trying to make out his face underneath the mask. Ice Demon's spiritual power was far more powerful than Zhang Yuochen's. He would definitely see Zhang Yuochen's real face using the sky eye. He could not idly wait to die. Zhang Yuochen's eyes turned cold as he mobilized a thunderbolt and lunged at the man. A purple electric blade pierced into the region between the Yeti warrior's eyebrows. It broke through his chi, leaving a blood hole. Save me, Junior Uncle Master." Fresh blood incessantly gushed out from between his eyebrows. The Yeti warrior shrieked hideously, his body bending forward as he fell from the back of the griffin. After killing the Yeti warrior, Zhang Yuochen immediately used Rolling Thunder skill to quickly get far away. Ice Demon had not expected his opponent to strike a fatal blow. He was stupefied for a moment before yelling loudly in an earth-shattering voice, "Where do you think you're going?" Rain like icing knife. Ice Demon was holding a deadwood staff in his hand. He mobilized the mighty heaven and earth spiritual chi, and an icy cold fog soon condensed overhead. He waved it in the direction that Zhang Yuochen had fled. The cold fog whistled and then condensed, forming the mighty power of 10,000 soldiers and stallions. Countless blades shuffled about these forces. They caught up with Zhang Yuochen in a flash. Zhang Yuochen felt an overwhelmingly cold air oppressing him from behind. The blood in his body almost froze. Lightning of great destruction. Zhang Yuochen suddenly turned around and raised the thunder pearl in his hand. Suddenly, spiritual chi from heaven and earth gathered around the thunder pearl. It kept churning out thunderbolts. A sea of electricity formed, striking forward. Even 250 kilometers away, one could see the thunder cloud and the cold fog clashing in the horizon. Cataclysmic forces erupted. Thunder boomed. The cold wind howled. The savage beasts at the god-falling ridge were all stunned by the noises from the sky. They fell prone to the ground, terrified. Swoosh! The black market evil cultivators on the ground all rushed out. They stood on tree branches, cliff edges, and rocks, watching the strange sights in the distant horizon. A duel between two 44th level masters of spiritual power would mobilize natural forces and wreak great havoc everywhere. Every evil warrior of the fish dragon realm broke out in cold sweat. Aside from Ice Demon, there is another master of spiritual power. Who is it? No matter who it is, anyone who fights Ice Demon is looking for death. Zhang Yuochen was hit once and his body was immediately encased in ice. He hurtled downward. Despite having a shell of gold and a jade bone structure, even a monk of the third change in the fish dragon realm would sustain grave injuries falling from a height of several thousand meters. When Zhang Yuochen was barely 100 meters from the ground, a crack sounded. A streak of lightning had snaked down from the sky and broke the ice. Zhang Yuochen immediately broke free. his body surrounded by purple lightning. He turned into a streak of lightning and flew out into the horizon. Ice Demon was very surprised. He had not expected that his opponent would be able to break free from the ice. It was incredible. Since he can ward off rain like icing knife, he must be a master of spiritual power at the 44th level. Could he be the new great guardian of Red Wish Emissary? Ice Demon had come to Cyan Cloud County primarily to kill Jiang Shengming, Red Wish Emissary's great guardian. Seeing as this master of spiritual power specializing in electricity was most likely Jiang Shengming, the Ice Demon had to catch up and kill him. Ice Demon roared. The great guardian of Red Willow Heights has appeared again. Everyone, go after him. Encircle and kill him. He used his spiritual power to transmit his voice into the ears of every evil cultivator hiding in the area. Whizzing noises were heard in the pitch-dark mountains and forest. Countless evil cultivators began running in Jiang Yuochen's direction. Ice Demon cast a speed-enhancing spell. He led the pack in the chase after Jiang Yuochen. The black market has assembled so many masters. Senior sister apprentice Juanmu must be hiding nearby. Jiang Yuochen saw Ice Demon approach and immediately took out the treasure that his third elder brother apprentice had given to him, the shooting star invisible cloak. He put it on. In an instant, Jiang Yuochen's figure disappeared. He was completely hidden. Ice Demon arrived at Jiang Yuochen's former position. He snorted, "Even if you practice invisibility skills, you can't escape my sky eye." Find him. Ice Demon stood in midair and opened his sky eye. A meter-long light beam shot out from a hovering, green vertical eye between his eyebrows. Ice Demon swept over the area with his eyes and could not discover anything. He could not help but utter a sound of frustration. He became very cautious and started talking to himself. What has happened? Is his spiritual power above mine? No way. If his spiritual power has exceeded mine, why would he run? The shooting star invisible cloak was a treasure. Even a saint could not detect Jiang Yuochen if he stood still, did not touch anything, and avoided using his genuine chi and spiritual power. It went without saying that a master of spiritual power at the 44th level would not be able to detect him either. With the shooting star invisible cloak on, Jiang Yuochen landed silently. Although the spiritual power of Ice Demon was very strong, Jiang Yuochen could find a way to kill him as long as he was careful. As Jiang Yuochen prepared to approach, sudden power fluctuations were felt in the distance. A cyan-robed woman carrying a sword on her back appeared in a flash on top of an ancient maple tree not far from Jiang Yuochen. Jiang Yuochen immediately stopped moving and frowned slightly. Why has cyan-robed emissary come? Orange Star Emissary once told Jiang Yuochen that cyan-robed emissary was among the 3 most talented of the 7-star emissaries. She had cultivated the green cloud scent being. One had better not provoke her. Jiang Yuochen felt 70% confident he could kill either Ice Demon or cyan-robed emissary in a one-on-one fight. However, facing the two together would be very troublesome. If Jiang Yuochen were to act now, the ensuing battle would be fierce and would delay his plan to save Mu Lingxi. Jiang Yuochen was worried about Mu Lingxi, so he did not act. He stood quietly where he was, observing the two. Cyan-robed emissary asked, "You couldn't find him?" Ice Demon stood in midair. He withdrew his sky eye and shook his head. He must have used the Imperial Edict to escape from the area. That's strange. Why would the new Great Guardian of Red Wish Emissary take such risks to save the demonic saintess? Asked a baffled cyan-robed emissary. There's nothing strange about it. Maybe Red Wish Emissary has joined forces with the demonic saintess. Ice Demon believed he was very experienced and that nothing could escape his eyes. Cyan-robed emissary snorted. Although the battle to be the heir of the black market is very cruel, no one outside the black market can interfere. The elders will take care of Red Wish Emissary if she joins forces with the demonic saintess. If we can't get hold of her weakness, the elders can't do anything to her. Ice Demon laughed. Cyan-robed emissary, I think we must hunt demonic saintess down. Once we capture her, we can negotiate with the demonic sect and may even discover a collusion between the demonic sect and Red Wish Emissary. We can then defeat Red Wish Emissary without shedding any blood. This is called killing 2 birds with 1 stone. After Ice Demon and Cyan-robed emissary left, Zhang Yuochen immediately used his bodily movement and darted out of the dense forest. The evil warriors from the black market have sealed off an area within a 500-kilometer radius. Senior sister apprentice Juanmu must be within this area. I must locate her before the evil warriors do. Ice Demon was nearby and Zhang Yuochen did not dare to use his spiritual power to locate her. He did not want to draw Ice Demon to him. A forest within a 500-kilometer radius was not exactly large. Zhang Yuochen could cover the distance within 4 hours with his current speed, but one could still say it was quite large as it was enough to hold an inferior commandery. Without using one's spiritual power, one might not locate a person there in 8 or 10 years. Since Mu Ling's eye was injured, she would definitely be hiding. If Zhang Yuochen wanted to locate her, he would need to rely on luck. Although Zhang Yuochen could not use his spiritual power, he had super-sensitive visual, auditory, tactile, olfactory and gustatory senses thanks to his martial cultivation. His 5 senses were many times more sensitive than an ordinary person's. As a result, he could search quite fast. Zhang Yuochen's ears suddenly twitched. He heard 2 sets of racing footsteps 25 kilometers away. Swoosh. Zhang Yuochen used the space-moving technique and disappeared. After many space moves, Zhang Yuochen finally appeared on the side of a hilly highland. He finally saw whose footsteps those were.